We should both get those like lie down kind of chairs.
Yes, dude.
For therapy, and then wheels just switch off.
Yes. So tell me what you're thinking. How's Tarkov been treating you?
Well, Jesse, how does that make you feel?
Do you still see the Raiders in your dreams?
Show me on the doll.
Yeah.
Where Killa, no.
So,
so Killa shot you.
Yeah, where Killa shot you. What were you thinking, you gross people? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talk about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I'm JesseKazam. Dude, I am today. I'm like fucking amped up. I've got so many things.
Yeah?
I've got so many things that like not all of them are like long. Most of them aren't long. But there's just I've played like 5 games in the last like week, dude.
I saw you like tweet something about like, man, I need something to carry me to Diablo, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also didn't realize. So the first thing is that Diablo 4 comes out today. Well, half an hour ago.
Yeah. What?
Wait, no, in a half an hour.
Okay, but what is that? Because I've been seeing Asmon play it. Is he just like VPN'd into New Zealand or something? Like, maybe he was like watching trailers or something, and I thought he was playing it.
I know that there like a bunch of creators got access to it early.
Yeah.
To do like reviews and whatever.
Yeah.
But
he was watching
because I like a week ago, a bunch of like not leaks, but like people, the embargo I think was like lifted on most of the stuff except for like quest storyline.
Yeah.
So they were able to basically say like we played the end game. We've been able to see what the gameplay is going to be like, because so far all of us normies have only ever really gotten to play at a level 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
So now I don't know if they had consistent access. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like everybody was saying that he was like watching cutscenes and probably
so
like
that makes sense. I just popped in really quickly and saw that he was in the Diablo 4 category and he was watching a cutscene. I was like, oh, I wonder if he got it. So, but it does come out today for people that pre-ordered it. Dude,
I found out yesterday.
Really?
2 days ago that it was coming out. I thought it was the 6th. That's the day. But if you pre-ordered like the expensive edition, you get it a week early. So that was actually like really exciting. So as soon as we're done with the podcast tonight, I'm going to play Diablo 4. We've been waiting.
Oh yeah,
like fucking 10
months.
years.
Yeah.
Because Diablo 3 doesn't count. So there's that. The most recent thing was I literally was I just was playing like 2 hours of Doom Eternal,
bro,
as just like a stopgap in between the start of the stream, because I started late today, and the podcast. And I have to say that game is simultaneously incredible and also fucking annoying and like disappointing.
Interesting.
The movement and the mechanics with the glory kill. Have you played it?
No, but I've like watched documentaries about it.
Dude, it's just like so.
The soundtrack is unreal.
Well, literally like
that's like a masterpiece.
That's the reason why. The reason why I wanted to play it was because I just wanted to like.
Yeah.
Unreal. Just like, headbang while killing things. It was less about actually playing Doom. So I mean that's huge, but it's just mechanically, dude, like so satisfying.
Yeah,
the movement is so flowy. You'll move to one, shoot, fucking slice the guy in half, go over, fucking grab a guy by the throat, rip his head off, throw it into the mouth of another guy with a grenade. Like it's just so fucking good. And the movement can be super fluid and really cool because you got like a double jump, as well as like a dash in midair. There's like things you can swing from. It's got like these platforming mechanics, but I was just like yelling at the game for the last hour for 2 things. One, the UI is like and I know I think you can customize it, so I could probably like turn it off. But again, like you would, the default is like you've got your gun, but there's also like fuel for your chainsaw.
Okay.
You've got grenades, and then you've got like a couple other abilities, and like they show up not in the middle of the screen, but like imagine if there was like a circle.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like kind of
like the UI sits around your like crosshair, even if you don't have a crosshair. I don't know if you do in that game, but like widen that circle a bit, and that's the UI.
It's just like on the lower kind of half. It's like
that's weird.
Why? So you've constantly got shit like little tiny icons that in any other game, the visual language is like you're out. Like you need. There's an ammo icon when you're low. You know.
Everything else goes down here, and then if something's happening, they'll put that up there.
And then right underneath that, there's a big red flashing box that says low ammo. So first of all, the entire game is your low ammo.
Yeah.
There's no reloading. You're basically shoot. You've got like 60 bullets maybe.
Swap ever.
Like
weapon.
You can't. So you literally like will shoot, and then the main mechanic, the glory kill, is like once you get them down to like 10% health, they start flashing and they're stunned. And when you initiate the glory kill, you just hit whatever E or whatever the button is. It'll do a sick like one of like 100 different animations to like crack their head off or rip their fucking eye out, or like it's so sick, and it's dependent on the different enemies. You know, there's like big ones that you like climb up on and just like rip the top of their fucking mouth off their head, and it's so rad. When you kill them, that they drop health. If you use your chainsaw, they die and they drop ammo. If you set them on fire with the flamethrower, they drop shields, like shield shards. So you're doing a constant going to kill fluid animations, and you're constantly doing the resources of I need ammo, do this, I need health, do this. Okay. It's really fucking great. But you're always low on ammo because you can get ammo anywhere, as long as there's an enemy, you can basically get ammo. So it's constantly saying low ammo.
Oh, so you're saying like once again the UI is basically it's just permanently flashing low ammo.
Yep, and then you might have like a rifle that you like is kind of like a bolt action sniper rifle kind of thing where it's like a single shot, and you'll go there and you'll see low ammo and you're like, click, because it doesn't say no ammo when you're out. It just says low ammo.
It'll start blinking low when you're low and just keep blinking that even when you're out. Interesting.
Which is like visually, I mean, these are all, I'm sure some people are going to be like, oh, it's so nitpicky, but like, it's really frustrating when you're constantly confused by things that are inconsistent with other games.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like the game, it would be a fucking masterpiece if it wasn't for that. And then the other big thing that was the most annoying was the pathing. Sometimes is super fucking ambiguous. Like you'll be on a ledge, and then you'll look and you'll see a platform floating. It's all lava, right?
Yeah.
You'll see a platform floating, and then you'll see like a bar. Whenever you see these bars, they're kind of glowing.
Yeah.
It'll automatically like swing on them.
Yeah.
So I see the platform in the bar, and then like canyon kind of stuff, and it's like it looks like it curves to the left and kind of up, so I'm just gonna you swing, and all of a sudden you hit an invisible wall and you fall into the lava and you die, and it's like,
wait,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it turns out you're supposed to look to the right, and like there's patches of wall that are like kind of they have like a texture on them that you can climb on. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's really subtle.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that wouldn't be the biggest deal. I encountered like 3 of those invisible walls in the first 15 minutes, which is like, it's kind of annoying, whatever, because you're constantly moving. You get in the flow, I'm going to go left. And then you just like, it just grinds your momentum to a fucking halt. And then later on, so sometimes when it's ambiguous, it trains you to land on the platform and then be like, okay, like where do I go now? I don't trust myself to be able to get myself, if I go
just
left,
like intuitively,
you can't fix it to go right. Like
you're gonna die.
You're gonna die because like the distances are just enough to double jump, boost, grab the thing, recharge your boost, double jump. Like it's just perfect. So if you happen to hesitate or go the wrong way, so then later on, I go to do that same thing. There's like a pillar with like, I can see the platforms going around in circles. I jump up on one platform, I jump up to the next platform. I'm like, where do I go? The platform collapses because it's like one of those timed platforms. It's like, God, like why? It's so subtle. And I don't think it's like intentionally meant to be like hardcore.
Yeah.
This isn't like the Tarkov argument that is even wrong in Tarkov. It's just, I feel like they just didn't think of it.
Yeah, there were just like a few moments where, because like you were saying, if those few moments where you do fall then make you doubt in other moments, because obviously Doom is a game about momentum, like keep the momentum going. So even just a few times where it feels like you're pulled out of that or it's not intuitive, then you hesitate in other places. And when the game is about not hesitating and doing everything, then it can cause frustration in other places. Yeah.
Because so much of the time, like there's an area you need to go and there's like a subtle green light. It's like in one little doorway and it's like visually draws you over there.
Yeah.
The bars that you swing on, they're like glowing, flashing.
Yeah.
Every ledge you can climb on is like glowing and shit, except for when they're not.
Yeah. And then when they're not,
sometimes you go to jump on it and that's the way you're supposed to go. Sometimes you go to jump on it and it's an invisible wall and you're supposed to go the other way. You just didn't see.
Yeah.
So I was like, so it was simultaneously being like, this is fucking sick. Yeah. And then it's like, I spend 10 minutes, all the enemies are dead. And I'm like looking around going like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
You know, you see like the cracked wall that you're like melee the wall and it shatters, right? Like the half broken door. You know how you like you learn that whole thing in video games, right? It's like the secret door. And they've all been like green, but then there's one that's like yellowish green that you go to melee and nothing happens. And you're supposed to like insert a thing in a fucking metal arm that like, so I'm sitting there going like the quest marker is on the door.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, what do I do? You know, it's like, fuck me.
Yeah.
So I just had to rant about that because that for like the last hour, it's like 10 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 2 out of 10.
I've never played, but I've watched so much. Like I watched a few like video essays on like some of the more recent Doom games and stuff like that. And I feel like, what's crazy about that game is that it can make like sometimes like if I'm watching a video essay on it, I can't tell if what I'm watching is a cinematic or gameplay. And I feel like that's what they do is like you were saying, they add so much variety to like the finishing moves and the fluidity of the movement and how you can choose to do that like they make you feel like you're in a cutscene, right? You're not like, right side peeking a pixel peek in Tarkov, picking off rogues one by one. You're in it. You're like drawn to it, like magnetically drawn to the action. And it facilitates that like, almost like, Tarzan swinging from branch to branch, enemy to enemy. And it almost just feels like this continuous like movie or cutscene you're watching, but you are it.
Yeah. And if I was like the creative director, what I would do is hide like 95% of the fucking HUD elements.
Yeah.
And then what you do, rather than have a giant flashing box, you have it so that you're going boom, 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 boom. And there's a separate noise and an animation that's like unambiguously you're out of ammo.
Yeah.
Even some games have done it so like the last couple of bullets, I forget which game, if it's Insurgency or there's some game that I played recently that I feel like had like the last couple shots sounded different. It's not realistic, right?
Yeah.
But it's like was it CS:GO? It's Valorant. I don't know. I feel like it was a different game. But yeah, it's not uncommon, right?
Yeah.
But it's like then you don't need a million of UI elements, and then you actually won't be able to tell if it's a cinematic when you're watching.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll know it's not when I'm playing
flashing.
Because there's a million flashing fucking things all over the place that like I'm playing Black Desert Online.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like a totally minor rant. The game's fun. I'm gonna get back to playing it, and a lot of it comes down to like, first of all, I'm out of like shooter, like muscle memory.
Oh yeah.
And what I still do have screws me. So you have the flamethrower thing.
Yeah.
You have like one charge every like minute or something. It's not like super fast to be able to use. But it's on R. So I constantly go,
yo.
And then I'm running to the next thing. I hit R, and it's like
the one.
Like, fuck!
Yeah, that's insane. I'm instinctively pressing R to reload after everything.
Yeah, and I'm just not used to Doom. Like, you don't reload. If you have 60 bullets, sometimes I'll look over and I'll see 57. I'm like, well, let me just do a quick reload. I'm running to a door.
Yep.
There's nothing else to do except for, there goes my fire fucking charge, and a few other things that I just kept mixing up, and I think maybe it's because the default binds are like the opposite of what I had in another game that had like an air dash with like a jump. What game was it? That game where you're like a woman in space on a planet. It's kind of
Outer
like
Wilds?
fucking cosmic horror. It's a third person shooter. Returnal. Yeah, that game's badass. I think like some of the binds are a little bit different from Returnal and a few of the other games. So anyway, it's not like a massive thing. Dude, have you seen Only Up?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did you ever see...
Is it a game?
Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy?
Yes.
So this is an evolution of that.
Okay.
You're like a fucking 13-year-old kid in like Brazil or something. I don't even know. I can't even tell. You're just like in a favela. It's just a dump. It's just trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine if you took the entire like Unity asset store library and took one item at a time and stacked them up in a giant jump puzzle.
Dang.
That goes up to like the moon. And there's no checkpoints, no save points. You fall, you start over. But it has, surprisingly, it's been really enjoyable to play. And like it's not as bad as some of those other games that are just kind of like, fuck you. Like, you screwed up. Well, sorry, start over. It's not quite as painful. There's a couple different cool aspects of it. It's also got kind of interesting controls. I mean, you just walk around WASD. It's third. You can go first person, but fuck no.
Yeah,
like,
no.
It's super kind of disorienting, and also like you need to see your feet.
Mm-hmm.
You need
how
to
close
see,
am I to the edge? Yeah.
When you're literally 10,000 feet up, and you're walking along a like 6-inch wide piece of rebar, and jumping from that to like a stop sign that's just horizontal, floating, just like the octagon, 15 feet away, and there's just the ground underneath you. You need to perfectly, you need to see your feet, because you have one step before you got to jump off the platform. But the cool part of it is, well, there's a couple cool elements. One, it does a really good job. It's half like derpy as hell.
Okay.
With the like your leg animations. If you like spam W, your guy does like this weird, his leg kind of stanky legs out, and you kind of, it's a little janky. But at the same time, like if you're like walk and there's like a cinder block in front of you, like he's pretty decent at times at like, I guess it's less about stepping onto things and more if you're on like a pipe.
Yeah.
It just somehow makes you feel confident that your like legs are connecting properly with like the pipe.
Yeah.
In a lot of games, the pipe is like a really small rectangle.
Yep.
That's like a third of the width of the fucking diameter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you get on the side, you'd
fall off. Yeah.
This game's a little bit better about like one leg is going to be lower along the left. So you have some like leeway for one. If you left click mouse, it'll change between like walk and jog.
Oh.
If you shift, it's like full sprint. And if you press right mouse button, it goes into like bullet time.
Oh, shoot.
So if you have that 10-foot, 20-foot gap, that's like he's got ups like you've like.
Yeah, of course.
It's not unrealistic. It's just he would be the greatest Olympian long jumper ever.
Yeah.
But not like zero gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have this tiny little cinder block that you have to land on, you're like sprint, jump, and then and you can adjust. You have momentum, you have inertia, but you also can, like, if you're falling straight down and you press W, you'll move this way.
Yeah.
You know, you have play over it. So a lot of times you can really like kind of gauge, like too far, like hit D, or like S,
yeah.
You know, like, and kind of make it so that you'll land.
That's
as well as the
sick.
biggest thing too is if you're on a 2x4 and you've got 2 steps before and you need to sprint, you just hit the bullet time button, hit shift W, and it's like you take one big step and you see your leg like right on the edge, and then you hit space. Whereas normally, if you don't have it, you just fall because you didn't hit space fast enough, and you're just off the platform,
dude.
So it's actually forgiving in a weird way.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where, like, at first, I felt like a complete fish out of water. I was using the slow-mo like all the time for all the simplest things. And then it got to the point where it was like, there's like a 100-foot long 2x4 stack that's just this thin, and I'm just sprinting. Like, you just feel confident that, like, if you're gonna step off, you can fix it. Like,
Yep. That's so sick.
Now, something that took it to the next level that I just discovered, and I discovered it by accident. Randomly at one point, I was an hour and 20 minutes in.
To one run.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I have to tell you, so I mean, I think the world record is probably like 17 minutes or something. Like, it's like it doesn't have to take that long.
Yeah,
but if you don't know where you're going,
of course,
there's multiple paths too, and you don't know, like, if I go that way, if I go that way, there's shortcuts, and there's a few other like Easter eggs and stuff. But I was an hour and 20 minutes in. And I have to tell you, I think I might have been 5% of the way up, maybe 10%, probably 10%. And at one point I fell and was just like, just looking down, because you get the thing where you look down, go into bullet time, and you're like,
where do I land?
How can I like stop the bleeding?
Yeah.
Sometimes you only set yourself back 5 minutes. Sometimes you set your back at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the map is designed in that kind of way where it's like, I'm sure it gets further out from shit the higher you go. But I was falling, and I was like, fuck, okay, well, like, I didn't even look down. I just was like looking out at the horizon. Like, I guess I'm done for the day, because I had just done it for like 2 or 3 hours and restarted. And all of a sudden, boing, I was fucking flying up 100 meters past where I just was. And it's like, land on a roof and look down. I'm like, I just skipped like all this stuff that I'd been looking at, like, dreading. And there are beds. And it's just a little metal cot. And it's like, they're all the same. They're all the green sheet with a white pillow. And if you jump on the bed, it'll let you jump up. The thing is that, and what makes it so sketchy and kind of trolly, is that they're different in terms of how much bounciness they have.
Oh, okay.
So there are times where it's like, all right, I'm going to jump to that thing over there. There's like a 100-foot gap, and you go to jump, and it's like, boing, and you make it perfectly to the thing. And you're like, that's what that was there for.
Yeah.
And there are other times that you're like, there's a 50-foot gap there. Okay, let's go, boing. And it's like, it just, you don't get the ups you needed, or you're like, boing. And it's just
like halfway.
It's either a troll or it's intended for some other use that I haven't figured out. But But there's one section where it's like, I did this one bit that took me so long. It probably took me 40 minutes to do this one section. And then I discovered that, like, rather than do that section, there's a bed over around behind like this wall here. And then like 80 feet up, there's another bed. And then another bed like 100 feet up. So you're like, boing. Chain them. And then all of a sudden you're like, skip the whole thing. So now every time I play, I'm getting more confident. You get faster. And I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm not doing the bullet time. You're just trusting that like he'll grab the ledge. Because sometimes it's really forgiving where like you'll jump and this will be the edge and you'll just be like, and he'll grab it. And you're just like, no, I've lost. And all of a sudden it kind of like sort of sucks him onto the ledge. But now it's like, not only am I better, but also I know of this shortcut and this shortcut and this shortcut and this shortcut.
Is there an end? Is it like procedural, or there actually is like an end?
It's not procedural. I'm sure there's an end. I'm making sure not to spoil it for myself.
Gotcha.
For all I know, because there's a little bit of narration. You know how the narration and getting over it with Bennett Foddy is very meta, where he's like, oh, wow. You know, once you fall after you've made like a bunch of progress, you just hear some nice piano music and it's like, sometimes failing is okay. You know, like whatever. Sometimes it totally rubs it in. Sometimes it's just like philosophy. This is the kid's like, I live in this shit favela with my shit parents. My dad beats me.
What?
He goes to like work in the oil fields or whatever. And sometimes I wish he didn't come home. Like there's a random snippets where it's like, who knows if I don't know if there's a story. At one point, there's a giant elephant. And it's just looks like a plaster elephant-sized elephant. And it's going, you'll never make it, kid. You'll never make it. You're going to fail. Like,
what the hell?
Go back to the favela. You know, it's like, there's a lot of trolley aspects of it, but like, I don't know what the ending is.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what's past what I've seen before. I might be disappointed, right? There might just be, you get to the end and that's it. But I'm trying not to spoil it. So that's been really fun.
That's hilarious. I can
only handle a couple hours of it at a time.
Yeah.
Once you fail a few times, it's like,
I can see that. It's like good for those few hours because like you get the feeling of loss, you get the feeling of progression, but it's like, you know, your third time you wasted 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You're like, all right, I'm done.
It's a perfect like stream game, and that people just want to see you fucking suffer. You know what I mean?
Yes. They want you to fail constantly.
But yeah, so the game's called Only Up. I think it came out like a week ago or something.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. I played a bunch of Prison Architects, which they just announced their latest update, the last update. Like, this is our last update.
Yeah,
we're done.
Oh, interesting.
So I saw that like notification on Steam, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That was a fun, chill game to like mess around with. So I played that for a couple days.
What happened to No Man's Sky? Did you finish the permadeath run?
Yes, I finished it, and then played for a bit longer, and then kind of just wanted to do something else.
Yeah, you've been on that for a few weeks, so yeah.
I mean, I played it like 14 hours a day every day for, you know, like
like a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah. And also like I'm working on the video.
Yeah.
And it's almost like overload at this point.
Yeah.
It would be too much if I was
like
working
now
on the
that
video.
you're working on the video, playing a different game is beneficial because it's like now the No Man's Sky is like work a little bit, you know? So seeing something else when you're not editing, I'm sure is nice.
Bro, I'm not even at the editing phase. Oh, I mean, I made that intro.
Yeah.
But I have 5 instances of Google Chrome open on my laptop, each with like 100 tabs. It's terrible because I read an article, I open it up, or a wiki page, you know, about the ARG or whatever, and it's like I see a thing and I'm like, oh, that's important. Right click, open a new tab.
Yeah.
I'll come to that later. And then you open up 4 new tabs. So you've just branched the tree off like this. You get down here, you branch it off like this.
Yep.
You get down here, and it's like, and the sad part is that I'm never going to go and open up all those tabs.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a deep breath and close Chrome, all the tabs, and then open them up, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, I'll talk about No Man's Sky. I have a little bit of an update. a little bit of a pivot, but I think a good one.
Okay.
But real quick, I wanted to also talk about because it was a recommendation from people related to some of the sort of existential stuff of No Man's Sky was Soma, which I hadn't really heard of. It's one of those things that like one person a week was like, "Have you ever played Soma?" And I'm like, "No." And to me, it's like, it's not a word. It's not a word. It's just a thing. You know, like, have you ever played Dunu? You know, like what? No, I haven't. I just heard about it a million times.
I've also never heard of Soma.
But it actually is like a word. It has to do with I think it's like the body as distinguished from the mind, basically.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It's like a horror game?
Wrong. Yeah, so it's a
creators
horror
of
game.
Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Yep.
Yeah, so it's a horror game, but it's like not a normal kind of horror game. It's more of a like psychological horror.
Okay.
But really the core of it that's actually the good part is the story. There are some downsides to the story that maybe I'll talk about another time. I don't need to get into the details, but like imagine you going to the doctor to get like a special brain scan because you had a brain injury. You sit in the chair, he puts the thing over your head. It's like, all right, cool, we're gonna do the thing. This will, help us treat you, whatever. And then you wake up in a chair in a fucking like post-apocalyptic hellscape.
Damn.
And then
you just got to figure out what happened.
You got to figure out what happened. You have to. The core theme of it, without spoiling anything, is basically what makes you, what makes humans human. Is it your body? Is it your mind? Is it your brain? Is it your personality? Is it everything together?
Yeah.
What if I were to theoretically copy you, clone you? What if I teleported you? Is it you?
Yeah.
Is it not you? So it brings up those kind of existential, philosophical kinds of questions.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. So it was a really good story. That was also one of those things I talked about it on stream actually, and it was like honestly the probably off the cuff best analysis I've ever done on a game before. I feel like I had some criticisms of the game that were like, I feel like really good. I should probably do a video on it after the No Man's Sky video. I don't know if I will or not.
Yeah.
But it got so close to being like 10 out of 10. I would probably give it a 7. I'd probably give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Now that's not like IGN scores.
Yeah. Where everything gets a 7.
Yeah. Like Doom Eternal, I would probably give like an 8. Outer Wilds 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were just a few elements of it that were like, I feel like they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
At one point in the early game, you come across a robot that doesn't seem to know it's a robot or think it's a robot, and it's connected to like basically a cable that's shocking it, and it's like screaming in pain. And there are choices you have to make around doing a thing that'll cause it pain, in air quotes, right? Like,
yeah.
It's a fucking robot, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
What is pain?
But then you have like you have a little bit of a crisis of like, am I hurting this thing? Like I talked about with Chat GPT, where I was like, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. I'll try my best. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Like I know that doesn't have feelings and I still feel bad.
Yep.
In this universe, it's like, does it? I don't know. But you get a bunch of choices in the beginning around like, do you do the angel on your left shoulder or the devil on your right shoulder? Do you disregard all of the robots as whatever, or do you empathize with them? And then like later on in the game, there's like 80 more robots that are sitting there like in similar positions, and you walk up to them and you just like can't interact. And it's like,
oh,
it's like, I thought that was a really a really cool opportunity, because let's say the first one, you do the thing that causes it to die of pain and suffering and whatever. You're going to reflect on that and be like, fuck.
Yeah.
So then maybe the second one you won't, right? Or you're going to double down. And maybe the third one you're going to say, I can't keep doing this. Yeah. Like, no.
Give the player in the game the ability to have the game change them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give the player the opportunity to make the same decision at multiple points in the game, because then you can see how much the game is affecting the player.
Yeah. And there was just a ton of those where it's like, oh God, they missed the mark on some, like, on such a basic level, where it was like, if you just gave me the chance. Now, something that multiple people recommended in like the Steam reviews, and then the day before I went to play it, I said it out loud, and a few people in chat agreed. It was the like 3 people that responded to my question said, I would recommend that too. And the next day I downloaded it, started it up, and it's like, do you want to play on like normal mode or on the mode where you basically can't die?
Okay.
And everybody that was there the day before and the Steam reviews said I would actually recommend people play it on the no death mode, because there's so much environment and story and lore that you want to explore and read all the computer terminals.
Yeah.
And like, because there's so much interesting shit there.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about it is when you start off in the game, you're like in your apartment, in like Toronto or something. And everything in your apartment you can interact with. You like can walk into the bathroom and like open up the cabinet, and there's like toothpaste, and you can click and like bring it towards you. You don't see your arm, but like bring it towards you and rotate it and then throw it.
Okay.
There's like a trash can that you can like chuck stuff in. It's just like a weird thing that I don't know if it's intentional or not. But if it is, I thought I was intentionally doing the thing that they didn't want me to do. Like, I felt like I spent like 20 minutes in the apartment opening all the drawers, looking at all the books, pulling the DVDs off the shelf, like, like looking at like Time Cop 9 and like reading the back, like stupid shit that like, I thought I was being like a rebel in some way. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I'm going to explore and whatever. And a million places all throughout the game, there's pieces of paper, jotted down notes, post-it notes, and pictures. And every time I pick it up and turn it around, nothing on the back, nothing on the back. At one fucking point in the game, there's a goddamn like important code on the back, and I'm like, yes, I fucking knew it. I looked at like 1,000 and it felt right, you know? And then at another point, the solution to a thing, dude, I tried in the bathroom, I like grabbed the like scissors and like chucked them at the window, and I'm like, and it didn't break. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And then you get like beakers, and you like throw the beakers, and it didn't break. And then at one point I like did it and like shattered a window, and like that was the way that like that was the solution or like a solution, and it was just so satisfying. And I don't know if that's what they wanted. If everybody fucks around with all that shit, I'm sure a lot of people just, you're supposed to go to the fridge, grab a thing, and then click on your door and leave.
And then just go. Yep. But it's like they went through everything. They went through the process of making everything interactable.
Yeah, and there's like 3 things that you're supposed to fucking actually interact with in the 3D environment in the game to like progress the story. But there's 10 million items, everything around you. I just thought that was a really clever thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of really cool things. It was a great story. I would definitely recommend it, for sure.
Soma, that's interesting.
Soma, yeah. So then the last thing is the No Man's Sky video. So remember how last week I was talking about how like complicated it is to like Lost to explain the Dharma Initiative, and
if you want to go this direction, you feel like the only 2 ways to do it are oversimplify or overcomplicate.
Yeah,
but you just want to get here. Yeah.
Yep. So one of the big issues that I found myself running into was trying to figure out the ordering of everything.
Yeah.
When you have 2 things that are both directly connected, you have B and C. They're both directly connected to A. But then you have something that's, D that's directly connected to B and F. What order do you tell it in?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to say, the ordering matters, right? To be able to say, here's the thing, and then, it leads to this other thing, and it leads to this other thing, and then we're going to switch over gears to talk about this other thing, and then, remember the thing I talked about 17 minutes ago?
Yep.
It's like, it kind of loses its oomph.
Yep.
So, but it's like trying to mash it all together. Like, what? So I sit there, I have 17 pages of notes, and I basically have written out, like, I'm going to start explaining cosmic horror, and and I'm like, here are the elements of cosmic horror, examples of cosmic horror, and then it's like, okay, and then I'm going to talk about the game and the story of the game. But then it's like there are elements of the story that are also elements of like cosmic horror.
Yeah.
And then there's like the ARG, and then but there's also like the original focus was going to be the cosmic horror kind of element. The problem is that there's 100 amazing things I want to talk about that are about the lore and the story that are important to this whole thing, and like 20 of them are like cosmic horror things. So it's like trying to make, if I was trying to make like an argument video essay about like this should be put in this genre, it would fail unless I throw out all the other shit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I still think the argument has merit. Like when you watch Annihilation, it doesn't have Cthulhu tentacles, right? It doesn't have It doesn't have giant, fucking cephalopod abyssal leviathans, right? Like it's just it's more of the idea of like asking 1 or 2 existential questions.
Yes. So are you like struggling with the, now you said you're pivoting. Are you pivoting on the main assertion of the video from like No Man's Sky's cosmic horror to making like No Man's Sky's cosmic horror like a chapter of the video? Like, hey, you might not have thought about that, but then there's a larger assertion to be made.
So this is why I hate when I get excited and I want to talk about stuff before I'm done working on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure some people are going to be disappointed. But at the same time, this is better. So, and I think what I want to do now is like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
My intro literally talks about, it mentions cosmic horror, but one of the cool parts is that like I don't say that's the thesis of the video. It just happens to be like the final sentence is me saying it's a dark existential cosmic horror game.
Yeah.
Like that could be an intro to a million different kinds of videos. So it still actually works. But what I think is more interesting than I think would appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah.
And probably like if anything is going to go viral on YouTube and and get 1 million views, It's a fucking iceberg video.
Yep.
And there's No Man's Sky iceberg video.
Yeah. Wow. I was really wondering what you were going to say, like how that makes so much sense, actually.
And you know what the best part is that the iceberg video, what I do is I have the giant list of all the things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Now I don't need to put them all in like overlapping awkward categories.
Yeah.
Now it's like, where is it on? What layer is it?
Yeah.
And then from there, those videos, just the format of them, by definition of the video is, here's a topic. I'm going to talk about it. Now moving on to the next one.
Yeah, because it gets deeper.
Matter.
And it gets deeper. Yeah,
they're all disparate things.
Yeah.
So I don't so literally it went from if I was going to do the cosmic horror video, it was going to be me working hours every day, stressing for 6 weeks.
Yeah. But now you can
iceberg video, probably a week.
Yeah.
And I did most of it today.
No, that makes so much sense because like not only does the format relinquish you from needing to like tell it in like any sort of like chronological order with like the ARG and what happened in XYZ, but yeah, it just like it frees you up to just like move subject to subject and structure it, because there's still like there's a pseudo narrative to iceberg videos, and the narrative is just like your subconscious going, it can't get weirder, it can't get deeper, it can't get weirder. So like that narrative is almost like lifted from your shoulders, because the point of the video is that it has to keep getting weirder and deeper, because that's what iceberg videos are. So that makes a ton of sense, actually.
Yeah, and I've already like literally I did this today.
Yes.
And I still have to move stuff around, and there's still, a lot to do. But already it's like, and I even did I just pooped this out.
Yeah.
I sent Jesse a little preview of my work in progress iceberg image. And now it's just, as soon as I made this decision, it suddenly just exploded out of me.
Yeah.
Like now I know what I need to do. Whereas before I was just really struggling.
I like this a lot. I think this
and I
makes sense.
thought that how deep the rabbit hole goes in the game is actually, to me, the most interesting part of it.
Yeah.
Where people are like, they play the game, and they half the people that know about the game don't even know that it's got a storyline.
Yeah.
They just thought it was like a Minecraft kind of game, right? Yeah. Then there's a storyline. Then there's like, what happens when you play through the storyline and you don't just button mash through all the prompts, and you ask questions about like, what's iteration 21195BC3? What does it mean that it was deleted? Like, I never looked at that. Deleted. They were deleted, transferred, sent, like,
Yep.
And then they don't realize like the main storyline, what it's actually saying. And then it goes even deeper when you're like, wait a minute, but what about all the side lore, all of the computer terminal things that like you have to be like a completionist to really click through?
Yeah.
That makes it even deeper, and holy shit, then it goes a layer deeper in this other like hidden shit in the game.
Yeah.
And then there's the ARG, and then it just keeps going deeper. And like I said, like 15 or 20% of that is relevant to cosmic horror.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and it I feel like it'll let you tell the original. It'll probably be able to better explain the original thesis that it's cosmic horror, because you'll be able to isolate it into like a part of the video, like a chapter of it. Because like I feel like every week when we talked about it, you're like, oh, this is getting deeper, this is getting wider, this is getting deeper, and you're like, how does this fit? But you'll be able to arrive at like, also the lore does this or XYZ, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And like if you look at the diagram, the Venn diagram of the number of people that'll watch a No Man's Sky iceberg video and the number of people that would watch a No Man's Sky as cosmic horror video, the cosmic horror video is a circle inside of the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is just bigger.
Yeah.
Now I'm expecting that this will get 6,000 views. and it'll be like another disappointment.
Yeah,
I hope I'm
course.
wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like all you can do is kind of say like, well, if anything is going to do it, it's going to be this, and just hope that the fucking algorithm gods reward you.
Yep.
But I just think like people love iceberg videos. I've watched so many iceberg videos on shit that I'm not interested in, don't care about, whether it's like Wendigoon or any of those other channels.
100%.
They're so good.
They are.
And it's just, it takes care of 80% of the work just by deciding I was going to do that. So
I'm glad that clicked then, that it was like, now you'll be able to include everything and not have to like justify it or order it in a weird way.
And what I did was, it came to me last night after like a 14-hour stream.
Okay.
I was like, I'm just kind of want to talk about this stuff because I'm spending all my days looking at wiki pages and whatever, and I'm so stoked and I want to talk about it, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't talk to it about, to my wife when I get into bed at night. She doesn't fucking want to hear about Sean Murray and the fan fiction,
Yeah.
So I was like talking to chat and I had Photoshop up and I was just typing topic things and I'm like, I got to figure out how I'm going to arrange this. And I figured like a tree structure, right? Like you have this branches, and the way that I built it, I'm like, this is a fucking iceberg. Dude.
Yeah.
It just, the deeper it goes, I'm like, fuck, and it just hit me. This has to be the way it's got to be.
Yeah.
And if you Google, like No Man's Sky iceberg, there's like 2 images on like Google Images that people posted on Reddit, and they're like, there's like 7 things on there, and they're like not even interesting.
Yeah.
They're like memes and whatever that aren't. Yeah, it's just not that great. And then a few people are like, we need a No Man's Sky iceberg from like 2 years ago on the forums, and someone's like, I can't believe there is none. So I'm like, yeah, this just needs to be made. I also contacted on the fucking Contact Us thing, the company that did the ARG.
Oh.
Because I need questions answered. The chances are I'm not gonna get these questions answered.
Well, why not try?
But let me just say this. The controversy about how the game came out without multiplayer.
Yeah.
And how on day 1, 2 people met each other, that whole thing. There's two universes we live in. One of them we have hot dog fingers, and one of them is the universe we live in.
Yeah.
One, that was all intentional.
Oh, shoot.
Because, spoiler alert, the entire main storyline is about multiplayer, meeting other people, the other travelers. At one point, you meet a character, you're like, oh, let's meet here. Like, finally, I found your ship. The distress beacon. We have the coordinates. Let's go. And you're at a terminal, and you're both like, I'm here at these coordinates. But you're not here. And that's when you find out that, you find out why. But they're standing in the same place.
In the story?
It's the main quest line. So either this whole thing was like intended beforehand, and he kind of either potentially like genius, but maybe dropped the ball in the presentation, or he's just like an agent of chaos and was like, I'm just gonna make him think, whatever, right? Or maybe maybe the Hello Games came up with it, or maybe the people who did the ARG worked with them to make the story in the game explain itself. It's wild. The monologue crazy. I have at the end of this video is probably the greatest thing I've ever written.
I'm so excited for this, dude. I'm so excited.
It's so fucking buck wild, dude. I'm excited to talk about. There's some words on here that I'm excited about. Like Tachyonic anti-telephone.
Tachyonic anti-telephone.
Yeah, the assassination of Emily Layton.
Wow.
Toby. Another one. That's a fun one. I have multiplayer is a bug. That won't make sense to anybody until they see my video.
Yo, that's so great.
Yeah,
that's
man.
So great.
I'm so still like it went from me being like I really want to get this thesis out here.
Yeah.
But it's so much work that it's almost like it's just stressing me out.
Yeah.
To the point where I just want to like get it done ASAP so I can stop stressing about it.
Yeah.
Because if I wait too long, I'm going to lose interest and I'm just going to be in something else.
Yeah.
To now it's like for the first time in a long time, I'm like, yo, excited about a video project.
Yeah. It unlocked it. Like you had all the raw materials, but you were just like, what am I making here? And like this is it. That's sick. I think that's great. I think an iceberg video fits perfectly for this. And I want to know. I want to know it all. I want to know it all.
Yeah. So that's
so sick.
That's
dude.
The long-winded update.
I'm arriving at the same spot. Like I've got a video that's probably coming out this weekend, dude. It's like it's the most work we've ever put in. I've been working with an editor, and it's the most work I've ever put into a video ever. It's like an hour and a half long. I'm so excited about it. But I'm like I'm like, because I'm not huge into like video essays or like long form, obviously I consume them, but I haven't created them. Like my content has traditionally been so like quick, like low effort. Like for a good year, for a solid year of making content for Tarkov, I would wake up, I would get to my office, I would think, what video do I want to make today? I would script it, I would record it, I would edit it, I would thumbnail it, and I would post it that day. 5 days a week for a year. I was posting 5 YouTube videos a week.
Yeah.
And every day, like the entire video process was done in a day. And we've been on this video for like 2 months. So for me, this I'm feeling it physically. I'm like, this video is going to get 3,000 views and I'm going to just be depressed. You know what I mean? Like, but the flip side is that like the type of content I had been making, the ceiling for that is so much lower. Like that type of content's not ever going to get 1 million views. This is the type of content that could. That doesn't mean it will, but I'm at least making content that has a higher ceiling. So then it's about trying to, reverse engineer it. But like, it's like when you play, like buying a lotto ticket. It's fun. You shouldn't expect much. Yeah. But it's exciting, Exactly. So
also I'm assuming there has to be an element of like creative expression and like there's just so much more. Like when I was making a highlight video every day, it's literally just I'm throwing together clips, intro, outro, like get it out and done there, but like when I work on one of these types of videos, I will write 2 paragraphs in an hour and that'll be my work for the day. Yeah. 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 And then it's depressing to see someone makes a SpongeBob iceberg video and it's someone else made the iceberg and they're just reading off of the thing and all you need to do, like really all you would need to do is look at the topic, put it into Wikipedia, copy paste the first paragraph and read it. And if you have the right channel, you'll get 3 million views on every single one of them, right? So it's like so depressing that like, but so this is, I actually feel like I'm solving a mystery. Yeah. Like I'm uncovering shit that hasn't been seen or thought about, or if it has been at least, like I'm not aware of it, so I feel accomplished.
Yeah. That's so sick. Oh man. Yep. So I feel you. I'm excited to see it. And it's weird being in that place and like having this piece of content that I've spent so much time working on. The project file was almost a terabyte for this video.
Hell yeah.
I'm so
If
excited.
I mean, even if you get fucking 6,000 views, because no matter how good it is, like the quality can only really help, but that's not.
Yeah.
It's not even. I was gonna say it's a necessary but not sufficient condition. It's not even necessary. Like low quality videos can blow up.
Yeah, all the time.
It's something that can help.
Yeah, exactly.
Making an amazing video can help it,
Yeah.
But it's sort of Jesus is taking the wheel.
Yeah, for sure.
Your videos with the angels.
Now. Yeah, it is, and that's the thing is like, and I know I've put enough work into it that I'm like super I don't want to change anything about it.
And you're gonna feel the pride in the video and be like, I know it deserves 1 million views. Like I feel about the chess video and the Trackmania videos.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're gonna have that, and that's almost like I can sleep at night better
for sure. Yeah, that's like that's a version of success. It's like I don't want to change it. You know what I mean? Like I made the video I wanted to make. Like that's.
Now you're an artist.
Now
you're an artist. You don't like my art? What? No.
Yep. Exactly. I don't need you, but I kind of do. But But yeah. So
no, I do, but I don't.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
I can't wait. When do you think it's going to be out?
Probably Saturday or Sunday. So I was gonna post it today or tomorrow, but with the Diablo explosion, that's gonna be like everyone's gonna want to play. Everyone's gonna be staying up all night. Everyone's gonna be watching guides. I want to give that just 24, 48 hours for that to calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to post it soon because it was we finished it today. So probably Saturday or Sunday.
Sick. Yo, okay. Real quick though, you know what doesn't have an iceberg? What I wanted to do was I haven't seen an iceberg video in a while, so I'm like, I need to watch a few that I can learn
what makes a good iceberg video.
What makes a good iceberg video? Because there's a difference between making one and between consuming one.
Yeah.
And to try to think what are the things that get put there? Are they memes?
Are
they, I'm like, what kinds of things? Fuck, I don't want to do it wrong,
Yeah.
And what doesn't have an iceberg video and it blows my mind?
Huh.
Or even an iceberg that I could find. Lost.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Lost feels like if you had asked
the origin of icebergs,
why icebergs came about, I would have guessed Lost.
Bro, I was like, remember I was talking about Lost last week, so I'm like, yo, to see how they break things down, would be amazing, because I was trying to figure out, one of the things I was trying to determine is you have the history of the development of the game is like a timeline. Yeah. You have the storyline from beginning to end is a timeline.
Yeah.
Then you have an ARG that is a different timeline that connects to both timelines. It connects the real world development and then you have the depth of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Because there are elements in the story that are deep. There are elements in the ARG that are, but it actually ended up working. It kind of works where it's going down is going deeper, and I'm going to go from left to right on each of the sections.
Gotcha.
Temporarily in the storyline.
Yeah.
But then also vertically in the development. It'll make sense.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy that Lost doesn't have an iceberg, bro.
So now I'm like, do I need to make a Lost?
Yeah. So we're putting pause on the No Man's Sky iceberg video to make a Lost iceberg video.
Imagine if that was my pivot.
Yeah. So I wanted to announce an update on the No Man's Sky video. It's now a Lost video.
Yeah, the No Man's Sky Cosmic Horror video essay is now a Lost iceberg video.
Oh, God. Damn. That's crazy.
Now, I was joking, and something in my brain switched, and I'm definitely not going to... I'm gonna do the No Man's Sky video ASAP,
But after...
But I might actually do a Lost video.
Yes. Those videos like that tend to do well as well, where you like tap back into something that was super cultural. You know what I mean? And then like re-explain it. You know, like the title of the video is like what, you know, why don't we ever talk about how Lost really ended or something? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we ever talk about what Lost really was? You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, like, I remember liking Lost. I remember being confused at it. Why don't we talk about it? You know, and it's like, yeah.
Oh, and also, God, I'm going on my own iceberg. This is like the longest non-Tarkov intro we've ever had. Sorry for all the people. Not sorry.
Yeah.
The way that I, for the most part, and I think the average person interprets and views the ending of Lost is wrong.
Yeah.
Like the whole they were dead all along.
Yeah.
That's not it. It's just not
I don't even remember. Like, I remember thinking that too. You know what I mean? That same thing.
Now, for me, I was like, okay, that's kind of a letdown, but like, this was still an amazing story. I don't fucking care.
For sure, yeah.
You know? It was less about like Game of Thrones, where all of a sudden last like 2 seasons were like rushed and smashed together. This was like one episode that like, okay, you know, whatever. But a lot of people, you know, because I'm not spoiling anything by saying that this is not how the show went. A lot of people assumed that they were dead all along.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is it completely removes all importance over all of the drama and tension that happened.
Yeah.
Like people dying, like they're already dead, and this is all just like fake. Like,
yeah.
Then I could see how that would ruin the show for people, because it's like none of it matters. But that's just not.
Yeah.
And I only found that out doing the No Man's Sky research, because I wanted to watch some video essays to see how the fuck people explain these types of things. Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Lost Iceberg, Veritas Iceberg channel coming in hot. The icebergs.
Yeah, this is where I sell my soul and start making content that people love and YouTube loves, and I suddenly start making money,
and it's financially viable. Yeah. Well, dude, I love that all that stuff, because there honestly isn't a whole lot going on in the Tarkov world. But before we do that, before we hop over and talk about,
before you feed me some Tarkov,
I want to feed you some delicious meals from HelloFresh. I want to take a second and thank the sponsor for today's episode, and that is HelloFresh. We have worked with HelloFresh for a while now, which is awesome for me, because I have been using HelloFresh personally for like probably close to like 6 or 8 months now. 4 meals a week for my wife and I. I had one today for dinner. They're delicious. So what's cool about HelloFresh is it is a meal delivery service where you get your food and you cook it every day, and it has everything that you need exactly portioned out, so it reduces waste. It reduces food waste, which is insane. I have had this story many times of like, okay, we'll do the recipe, we'll do this, and you need cilantro, but you only need like a tablespoon. You buy a big thing of cilantro, sits in your fridge for 2 weeks, and you throw it away. You know what I mean? You get everything. You get exactly as much as you need, so there's no food waste, and it's awesome. And there's, it's really cool with how many different options that you have, how many different options of the type of food you want. Do you want protein plus? Do you want keto? Do you want veggie? Do you want this? Do you want it for 4 people, 2 people, 3 people, 4 meals a week, 6 meals a week? And what's also cool is that they're really leaning into the summer, and they've got a ton of like summer related recipes. Last time we were sponsored by them, we were talking about they were celebrating different cultures and doing recipes with other chefs. And now they're really starting to lean into like their summer menu. What's cool about HelloFresh is not only the meals that you get, but there's all sorts of other things that you can add on in addition. So like if you were hosting or doing a party or something this week, you could get some like appetizers or some bites. And they're doing a lot of like summer focused bratwurst bars with caramelized onions, Dijonais slaw and pineapple relish, like snack boards with pretzel bites and spice bar nuts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of additional stuff that you can do.
Yo.
Yeah. It's sick. And actually, when I first in HelloFresh, we did that. I remember I got like some of their desserts and some of their other things in my very first box. I didn't do that a lot. Each week.
I just like ended up selling HelloFresh. I was camping in Maine over the weekend with my in-laws.
Okay.
Their aunts and uncles and stuff. And one of the aunts is a pescatarian, one of them's a vegetarian, and they were basically saying, doing the whole looking for new recipes. They had their phones out and they were trying to figure out what to make, and they've got HelloFresh has a ton of different options for all kinds of different lifestyles and different diets. And one of these days when I get back in the gym, I'm gonna go and get the nice healthy nutritional meal packages. Dog, what are those little boxes that you used to get with the little pizzas and the cheese and you'd squeeze on
Lunchables.
It's like adult Lunchables.
Yeah.
It's got all the little ingredients in exactly the right amounts.
Exactly. It's perfect. Yes, that's why we love this. But yeah, so HelloFresh is really cool. They've got ready to like fast and fresh options that are ready in 15 minutes or less. So the greatest thing about it is just that you are in control. How many meals for how many people, what type of food, what type of diet. They normally have, I think, upwards of 30 different recipes to pick from every week. And then even the type of like, do you want meals that are going to take a little bit longer to make, like some more complex stuff, or do you want stuff that's like super quick and easy? So, and then in addition to that, the convenience of you can pause for a week if you're going to be out of town. You can pause for a few weeks if you got something going on. You can resume it at any time. You can make any of those changes at any time. So my personal experience with HelloFresh has been phenomenal. I've loved it. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/Pogcast16 and use code Pogcast16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/Pogcast16. Use code Pogcast16 for 16 free meals and free shipping. So yeah, thank you so much, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, for sponsoring this episode.
Bro, you can't say 16 like that, dog. Not God, No Man's Sky. 16 is 16
God,
16.
16.
It's a number.
4,
16.
8, 15, 16, 23, 42, 4, 8, 15, 16.
I didn't even realize that. I didn't even put that together, that 16 was one of the lost numbers, but 16 is a number that's everywhere in No Man's
Really?
Sky.
That number
18 quintillion planets. 16 to the 16th power is that number. That's the why. That's why that number.
Damn.
Yeah.
The iceberg grows ever deeper.
It's also 16 seconds until the world gets eaten by a black hole.
Wow.
That's a different story.
Oh, so yes, escape from Tarkov.
We're breaking the fourth wall right now. We have this we have this doc where we write all the shit down, like the bullet points of all the stuff we want to talk about, and literally before the episode, one of us will go through and like delete everything from the last week and start typing stuff, right? And there's only ever one box. There's like intro, and then it's like some of the shit I want to talk about, and then there's one box that's always there, and it's just Tarkov. And I open up the doc before the podcast this time, and all I see is that Jesse's little cursor on the Google Doc is sitting there, and it's Tarkov, and then parenthesis sucks. And I just had to giggle. So tell me about it. Why does Tarkov suck? Yeah, I mean, that's news to me, dude.
No, yeah, I know.
Are you sure? Is that a typo?
Yeah. No. Dude, it's nothing new, right? Like that's the thing, is it's nothing new. It's just so I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but like Irish got everybody in these past few weeks. So like I deleted my whole stash. I deleted 100 million rubles, 8 weapons cases, 4 thick items cases, all my keys, everything. I didn't reset my account, but I deleted everything in my stash except for my melee weapon and my armbands and the little transmitter that gets you out onto the lighthouse. And so I've just
Oh, you wouldn't give that up.
Well, you can't get it back if you delete it. So he was like, you can keep that. You know what I mean?
You can't get the hours of your life that
True. But like, anyways, so it's less that like nothing has happened to make Tarkov suck more. I think I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like I suck at this game now. Like, I know you're laughing,
dude. It's like you know a delay pedal.
Yes.
There's the mix knob and there's a feedback knob,
knew
right?
You were gonna...
And you've turned the feedback knob. You plugged my microphone into a delay pedal, and you turned the feedback to 12 months.
Yeah. No, I feel like I haven't had a good PvP fight in so long. I just feel like it's insane. So, anyways. So obviously I've been trying to make a bunch of money to like buy cases and get gear and like rebuild my stash. And I just, because of that contrast, dude, because normally I just have at this point 100 million rubles and I can do whatever I want. Because of the contrast of like yesterday's stream was a solo stream, which I don't normally stream. Like I like to play Tarkov duos. I was just solo, and it was 7 hours of me running the Lighthouse Island. And it was the best. It was the best stream I had because I got into exactly no PvP and I was making a bunch of money and we were just like vibing with chat and like talking and having a good time. And it was like, it was almost just an excuse to like talk to chat, to just like vibe. I was in Tarkov, but I wasn't really playing Tarkov, right? I wasn't like going around to the different maps. I wasn't.
You were streaming Tarkov.
Yeah.
And people, not that you're not good at the game, because you are very good at the game, but people disconnect the two. They see someone's in their stash in the Tarkov category. They've got 100 million rubles. They are good at the game. They are a source of truth about the game. I should listen to everything they tell me about everything from graphic settings to headphones in and out of the game to whatever, when in reality, what you're talking about is largely the meta for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. And so like it just, because I've had the contrast of that, like the engagements, like that's the thing I've been saying over and over again these past few days. It's just like Tarkov, when you're interacting with another player, just sucks. You know what I mean? Like, and so obviously I'm saying sucks, and that's a little bit dramatic, and I still enjoy playing the game. You know, cue the 1,000 comments like, if you don't like it, just stop playing. You know what I mean? And I get it. I used to say that too, and I get that there is a line where you get there. You know what I mean? This is the Maldcast. This is what this is for. I'm not malding all day on my stream. A lot of times I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Sometimes I do mald, but just like, this is the place. This is the Maldcast. This is where I'm just like, yeah, let it out, honey. It just is what it is. So yeah, we should both get those like lie down kind of chairs. Yes, dude.
For therapy, and then we'll just switch off.
Yes. So so tell me what you're thinking. How's Tarkov been treating you?
Well, Jesse, how does that make you feel?
Do you still see the Raiders in your dreams? Yeah. So like,
show me on the doll.
Yeah.
Where Killa. No.
So. So
Killa shot you.
Yeah, where Killa shot you. What were you thinking, you gross people? But yeah, so it just, I don't know, man. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how to turn this into like a podcast topic to talk about, right? Because it's just the same. It's just everything. It's everything we've beaten to death forever. And it doesn't mean that I'm not excited about all these changes and potential fixes for these things, but like and it's hard to tell, am I just like malding or are things getting worse? Like sometimes it really is hard to tell. But like,
so what is the combat like?
Desync feels just like worse than it's ever been. I literally today, the first raid of the day, it's a scav raid. It's always scav army, dude. I see a dude, I shoot at him as a scav. I make a flank around. I hear him in there and I push. And you know how like your character always has two hands on the weapon. He's got his hands on the thing, and then like if he's got and the only time your character doesn't have two hands on the weapon is when you're in your inventory. Like if you're looking at your buddy in his inventory, he goes like this. He like puts his hand to his side and he kind of points the gun up and he's like in his backpack. I swing the corner and the dude is in his inventory. I'm like, boom. And he was the only one there. And I was like,
and you see like the muzzle flash,
yeah,
like towards the ceiling.
100%. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it feels like we're like 2 full seconds behind at all times permanently nowadays.
But did you whiff your shots?
You know what I mean? Like, oh, of course. But, you know, that's not the point, Veritas. You know what I mean? So it's just like stuff like that. Like the desync is crazy. Like almost every death, you know, I died to some like crazy off angle. And it's like you can frame by frame it. And it's like you know, pull up the clip and you frame by frame it. And then the guy, it's not, and like that's the thing. That's what I feel. It feels like it's getting worse. It feels like it used to be. I used to mold because I would like frame by frame my clips and I would look and I would be like, look, you can see him there. You can see his helmet. You can see his face. But his gun is behind cover. He shouldn't be able to shoot me there. And now, like, we frame by frame it, and I died, and his entire body, like, he was there, and then while we were strafing and shooting at each other, his whole body, his head, everything goes behind cover. And you go, like, another frame, another frame, another frame, another frame. I fall over dead. It's like no part of him, not even his eyeball, not his eyebrow is visible to me. He's completely behind cover and has been for, like, 6 or 7 frames, and then you fall over dead. And it's like, obviously, that's not that guy's fault, you know what I mean? But it's just, like, it feels worse, man. I don't know.
So there's, you know, when I'm in that position, I think 3 possibilities.
Yeah.
I think I just lost it. I'm in a rut. I'm washed. You know, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
There's the game, like, so that's you've changed.
Yeah.
Physically. Then there's the game has changed performance-wise, something mechanically, whatever that's made it worse. And or you've changed mentally in that you used to experience these things all the time.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, you wanted to be more positive.
Yeah.
You wanted, you know, you were in a honeymoon phase, right? Like whatever the reason is where you were just like, damn, GG, unlucky. Yeah. When in the same situation, I or you now would be like, did you fucking see the desync? Like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
Where a lot of times people, I see streamers encounter like blatant, like not even cheats, but just like blatant, like that was just Tarkov fuckery. And they'll be like, well, you know, good job. You know, like he beat me fair and square. It's like, you can be a good, sometimes that I'm just being honest, sometimes that's fucking annoying, you know, where it's like if you lose the World Series, you throw a strike at the last batter, a perfect strike, and the umpire says ball and it's a walk and you just walked in the winning run. If you're the pitcher and you're not fucking screaming, it's not going to help. There's nothing, it doesn't change anything. But at the same time, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, come on.
I get it.
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I get it from both ends. I get it because Tarkov is so just like so abusive. It's almost like a you know, it like a trauma response. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get into a car accident and you black it out. You know what I mean? It's like I have to, or like if I open this Pandora's box, I can't close it. And that's how I almost feel now. Because I definitely think that's part of it. I think part of it is for sure that like it's harder for me to stay as positive. But I also feel like it's gotten worse. You know what I mean? It's just been, I don't know, so bad recently.
So you feel like the performance has gotten worse, like something about the net code or whatever?
I do.
Now, since when?
Just progressive, like probably this whole wipe. Like I'm not saying these past few weeks. Like I would say it's gotten slightly worse each wipe over the past year or two. Like it's just progressively. And when we're at the end of the wipe and there's nothing to do, there's no quest, there's no nothing. The only thing to do is really just like go into the exact encounter where you would experience the desync. You know what I mean? A really successful raid 2 weeks in is you go here, you find this item, you kill 10 scavs, you maybe snipe a PMC, you loot his stuff and you leave. That's like a wildly successful raid 2 weeks in. But 5 months in, a wildly
5
successful
PMC
raids is like 5 PMC kills. And that's just like 5 times where the game can just like overwhelmingly cuck you. So it's like, I feel like it's probably been this entire wipe, not like the game is getting worse these past few weeks. It's just in the late wipe is when you just like feel it more.
I suppose another explanation too is when I said you change mentally, it was you're like less forgiving, but part of it might also be the awareness that we like talked about before, where it's like the more you experience it, the more you know what to look for.
Yeah, true.
So a lot of people might say, you could have all of a sudden said, the moment that I introduced to you that whole like stutter step freezing thing, could have been like, wow, the netcode really got bad overnight. You know?
Yeah.
Like you could assume that the variable that changed was the game when really you were the variable.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that there's not one explanation. It's probably as the wipes go on, the servers get more and more bogged down.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are playing, how that can affect everything.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of elements. There's a lot of moving parts.
There is. And I totally recognize that.
So I wonder if you, this is just me being candid, if you experience the same sort of the existential thing that I do, where it's like, I don't think it's possible that my decline in interest and enjoyment in the game, it's possible that an explanation is I've just gotten worse and or the player base has just gotten way better, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely don't believe that like everybody suddenly got real good so quickly.
Yeah.
That I went from being above average to below average.
Yeah.
But at the same, you're like, you want to be humble, you want to be like reasonable, and it's like this is a realistic thing I'm putting on the table.
Yeah.
But it's like out of the 5 possibilities, I find myself subconsciously, whether I say it out loud or not, putting that on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's possible that everybody's gotten good, but like it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah. I think it's a combination. Like the reality is it's a combination of things, and I definitely don't assert that I know exactly how much weight each thing has. Like I would say for sure that like at this point in the wipe, most of the people that are playing are Turbo Timmies or Turbo Chads. Like they're like I like if you look at my dog tag case right now, it's like 50s and above or teens and below. There's very few level 38s. Because they're bored. You know what I mean? Like
I must have made a joke. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't.
Shut up. But you know what I mean? Where it's like people are, it's crazy. I still all the time get the like, yo, I'm new. What are first wipe? What are your tips? And I'm like, and then my eyes like glaze over. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry if this is like your first wipe. You know what I mean? But
I can't even give advice to new players. I'm like, I don't know. I got nothing.
I don't know anymore, dude. You know? So it's like, but that's what I'm saying. So like, that's got to be a part of it where like, the likelihood that I come across somebody higher than my skill level has increased. Like you were saying, I don't think that that's like the whole reason why every fight for the past 6 weeks has felt bad. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it's a part of it. And then I'm sure the net code probably, definitely isn't in the best state it's ever been, but maybe it's not not that much worse than maybe it's not as bad as I think it is because it's a mixture of, like you said, the awareness of it and the awareness of it, the gameplay of putting myself into those positions more frequently. You know what I mean? The frustration of just like, I don't have anything to do. So the PvP feels bad. Like, I'm sure it's all those things, but I don't really care to get to the bottom of it. Even if I was able to prove to you with like numbers and packet loss and network diagnostics, even if I was able to prove to you the netcode's worse than it ever is, it doesn't matter, right? Because tomorrow the game is just going to be the game, and hopefully 13.1 and 14.0 make the game better than it is today, right? So it's like, so I don't even like, I don't even try. I don't care to get to the bottom of why it feels, so rough.
Well, it could matter because let's say they fix the netcode for everybody in 13.1.
Yeah.
You're getting fucking dicked on by everybody, and everybody is saying the netcode's amazing. I am having the greatest time ever.
Yeah.
This is the best state that Tarkov's been in. I'm loving it. And you're like, I can't win fights. I can't make money. Questing sucks balls. I'm dying to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And then you got Twitch chat telling you, bro, well, I mean, you're just kind of like washed.
Yeah.
And to you, it's like you're playing a different game.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, that's what I've been experiencing.
Yeah.
Now, there's other variables, like I play solo at different times of the day, et cetera, right? But like...
And we haven't had a netcode that's been really good, so we will, we got to test that out. If at 13.1, if it actually is, we'll see how much of it, for sure.
It's like going to play CSGO.
For sure.
I get fucking owned because they're better than me.
Yeah.
It's clear as day, right?
Exactly.
It's clear as day. Those people know the maps better. They have better reaction time. They have better aim. They have better mechanics. In Tarkov, it's like I'm looking at the small child playing basketball, and somehow he dunks on me like he's Shaquille O'Neal, but he's fucking
and you're
2.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
And everybody's going, hey man, the kids these days, they're just cracked.
Yeah. Or they're just saying sus, cheats, sus, totally a cheater, sus, cheats. You know what I mean? It's like there's nowhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
It's like there might be a hidden trampoline there that I'm not seeing, right? Yeah.
And that's the thing is I love that feeling, to be honest with you, because I make no I'm talking about how I feel like I suck at this, I suck now. Like I am very I am more aware than anybody at my skill level in the game, right? Like I know I'm not that good at the game. I have a lot of I know where I'm strong. I know where I'm weak. But the thing is,
I also think you're downplaying.
The thing is that, well, yeah. It's because I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'm not a cocky person.
Nobody wants to say that they're above average. But because of the whole Dunning-Kruger, everybody says they're above average, except the fact is that there are people who are above average, and if those people are confident, they're going to say they're above average, and they're going to be right.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to be above average, and for whatever reason, I'm not, and I think that you are above average.
Yeah.
I think the average Tarkov player probably has 300 hours. You've got 10,000. It would be embarrassing if you weren't above average.
I'm above average in the beginning of the wipe. I don't know if I'm above average right now. You know what I mean? But I totally feel you. I totally feel you. But what I'm saying is, by the way, did you reorder your windows? You've been a little choppy.
No.
Oh, okay. No. It might have just been, it just dipped for a second. I was just wondering. Well,
whoops.
what I was really getting at was that I love the feeling of being he outplayed me, he did better. A huge part of my content was the whole Lessons from Beyond the Grave series, where I would literally make YouTube videos about how look at this clip. It was very obvious. I thought here's why I thought this. I saw him go this way. I thought he was going to flank this way. I tried to counter flank. He did this, totally played me like a fiddle, and he got this angle on me. I love that. That's how I've gotten better. That's how I went from literally basically first game on mouse and keyboard ever was Tarkov to someone that can say that I'm probably above average. You know what I mean? It's because I'm addicted to that, to learning and figuring it out. And I think that's why I get so frustrated. It's because 9 out of 10 of my clips where I die, it's the guy that kills me is either not on my screen or his gun is pointed completely different direction than me. You know what I mean? And so it's what do you learn? You know what I mean? So if the netcode, if they fix the netcode and I still suck, at least I can then go, well, okay, here, what can I do here? What can I do here? You know what I mean? But that's where I just feel and it works both ways. We've talked about it. It works both ways. The highs, it's been said so many times that's why Tarkov is Tarkov, right? Is because the lows are lower and the highs are higher. But I feel the integrity of the lows and the highs has gone out the window. When I kill someone, sometimes sometimes I'll kill somebody and I'll say it and I'll be like, that guy got no audio. Because he's like Kappa armband, right? Level 71, and he didn't even move when I ran up to him. It's like, I know.
Either that or he's alt tabbed out because his mom's bringing him a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You know, like.
Yeah, exactly. Or you shoot somebody and it's like, I totally desync that guy. Like, I bet. And then sometimes when people come in to say GG, sometimes they're like, yo, what? Sometimes I'll say that. I'll be like, yo, I bet I wasn't even on your screen when you started taking damage from me, right? Can you show, do you have a clip? And we'll pull it up and it'll be like, you see? And so it's like, it doesn't even like, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like winning doesn't even feel good because so often you can tell that. Yeah, that's why I say I'll pay $5 to see that clip. I say that all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just the stuff. And then all the other little things, all the other things that like, it was like, I told you the other day that I was running around and I was like, yo, I'm super excited for the Streets expansion. And somebody was like, they should really do, fix the game before they have more content. And I just like fell out of my chair because I was like, I know it's like those conversations just happen over and over and over again. Like, you know what I mean? I was playing with Airwing today and I was like up in this like crazy jump spot, prone on basically on the top of a building that you're not supposed to be on. And I've got an SR-25 and I'm looking out and like 83 meters away, I see a scav running the opposite direction. And so I put my reticle on the back of his head and he stops and he 180s and does an ADS and shoots at me with like a stock AK. He didn't hit me. I shot him first, but I was like, and then, we go on the rant where I'm like, this makes me mad because it's not hard to fix. It's not netcode. It's not an entire audio occlusion system. It's like, this is dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I could like, in this instance, the best player in the world couldn't do that. Like, that's just the reality. Like, what makes Tarkov hardcore? What makes Tarkov hardcore is like, you never know if somebody spotted you or not, if you're making a move where somebody is. And I could see a level 73 Giga Chad who's better than me in every way possible. But if I just got the angle and I spotted him, I know I can take my time. I can be like, where is he going to go? Is he going to stop? He stopped. He's healing, medding, boom. I win that fight. But I can't do that to the lowest level AI in the game.
Yeah.
And with their 30 durability TAWs with no optic that they don't ADS, they can 180 side strafe and accurately hit me when I'm prone. And that's just like,
I don't have any trouble killing the basic scavs though, dude.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So it's like that's the stuff that sends me on a different direction. And then of course we get on the rabbit hole and I say something about it because it frustrates me. And then I immediately regret saying something about it because then people are like,
you get the comment that I just gave you, which is, I don't have any trouble with it.
Or well, if you make them easy, then you might as well just deposit 4 billion Bitcoin into each of our accounts. What's the game then? And it's like, might
as well be Fortnite.
You made such a tremendous mental leap from, I think this is frustrating to, well, you want to do this. And if you do that, this will happen. And if you do that, the whole integrity of the game is gone. And then why the hell do you even play this game? When all I said was like, this is dumb. You know what I mean? Like, what? So it's like, It's crazy. So it's just like,
adjacent to that too is the fact that like when you talk about the most cracked player, and this is kind of why I roll my eyes when people say like the young kids are just like better.
Yeah.
Tarkov in many ways, because of the mechanics and the weapon handling and the movement, I feel like the skill ceiling is a lot lower.
Yeah.
When it comes to like maybe tactics and stuff like that, it's not lower. But if you look at a game like Valorant or CSGO, where the bullet will go exactly where the dot on your screen is.
Yeah.
No, and you know exactly that the head is going to be this pixel high at this location. You can have a nanosecond reaction time in a click, flick, whatever.
Yeah.
In Tarkov, you can have the fastest flick in the world, the exact amount of micrometers to the right on your mouse pad, and your character still has to swing the gun, let the gun settle, let the fucking muzzle sway, let the EOTech line up, right? Like,
and depending on how far away, the MOA could legitimately make you miss.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You could be perfect and miss. Yeah.
So that's why so many of the things are so questionable, where the explanation of I felt like I didn't have a chance there.
Yeah.
That's so not Tarkov.
Yes.
Like it's not what Tarkov has been before or what it should be. It's what Tarkov is as a meme.
Yeah.
That you don't have a chance against the scavs because they just 180 prone headshot you with the TAWs, right?
Exactly.
But the whole point of Tarkov, like historically, is that like the smartest, most tactical grandpa is going to survive, is going to quote unquote win this raid.
Yeah.
Because it's not about mechanics.
Yeah.
It's about tactics.
Yeah.
And that's what it used to be, which is why I could make the Anatomy of a Firefight series.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to make that for 2 to 3 years now.
Yep.
Because it just doesn't feel like.
For sure. Sure. Those things, I completely agree. The mechanics helped you, but it wasn't a guaranteed win. And they, in my opinion, they took a backseat to, to knowledge, to map knowledge, to gun knowledge, to like situational awareness, to positioning, like those things that you could learn and that you could execute on could allow you to win a fight against somebody that was much higher mechanical skill than you. I completely agree. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's not like it's nothing we haven't said before. I did a video recently and I like sent it to the community managers. I was just like, hey, and it was just I was able to because I hate talking about this stuff when I'm streaming because sometimes I start off on the wrong foot because I'm frustrated. And I don't like starting there, right? Like if I die and I'm like, that's dumb, and I'm frustrated because it's like the 14th time I died, and then somebody's like, well, why is that dumb? I don't like starting from there because I'm mad, right? And so I'll simplify it down and I'll move on, and because I don't want to talk about. It sounds like
it would be a slippery slope that you wouldn't want to go down every day of your life for fucking 5 years.
So. Or I'm just or if we get into a good conversation, it's like I'm in a raid, I'm with a duo, he's talking, I'm trying to engage with chat, somebody subs, I want to thank him, so it's really hard. So I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, the title of the video was like PvP in Tarkov is broken, but it doesn't have to be. And it was like a 5-page script about basically here are the things that I can't have any sort of input on, right? Like netcode, desync, audio, hit reg. These are things they said they're working on.
MOA.
I'm going to trust them. But here are the things I think that are subconsciously killing this game. And I think what I said was if tomorrow the MOA, if tomorrow the netcode was perfect, if tomorrow the audio was perfect, my assertion here is I think we would all still be super frustrated with PvP. And here's why. Because I think these 4 or 5 things basically rip control away from the character. And I was able to just put it all down and just have it as okay, here it is. Here's
was it
everything.
Recoil and movement or weapon handling?
Yeah, it was aim punch, blunt damage, collateral damage, inertia, recoil. And the most important thing to me is I believe that the adrenaline effect that we've talked about before is the most important thing that needs to come to Tarkov's PvP. I think ripping movement, ripping all control of movement away from the players of the game the minute the players interact with each other is the stupidest thing ever. And the reliance on but
I could kiss you right now.
Yeah.
Right on the fucking lips.
Right on the lips. So it was that, and in that we uncovered and that's why it's there are tons of people that commented on the video that it sucked, which is totally fine. I very much so expected it, but there were a lot of things that
commented on that your video sucked.
Oh yeah, I mean hundreds, but it was a small percentage. But yeah, of course. But I expected it.
But here's the thing: when you're so fucking right,
yeah,
those comments just make you kind of laugh.
Yeah, they mean so much less. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, for sure. And but there were some things that it was that I would argue you almost can't argue with me on. Okay, you might think the weight system is a good thing, and I might think the weight system is a bad thing. And those are both very valid viewpoints because that's a subjective thing. It's a really interesting mechanic for the game. But with some of the things I talk about where the weight system only exists for poor casual players. because the stims in the game just circumvent the weight system. Right? I can take an SJ6, a Tramadol, and a Mule, and a Meldonin. And now the Meldonin has counteracted most of the damage, extra damage I'm going to take from the Mule. The Mule has allowed me to walk with so much more weight, and the SJ6 and the Tramadol mean that I can walk or run basically the entire length of the map. It's 200,000 rubles in stims, but it circumnavigates the game mechanic. So it's like we can talk about if the game mechanic is good or not, but a game mechanic is dumb if you just let people run around it. And then that was the argument I made with the painkillers. I was like, if your argument against the adrenaline effect is just pre-pop painkillers, you're missing it, right? Because if you're saying just pre-pop painkillers, you're actually agreeing with me that the way it's set up is dumb. Because you don't interact with it the way it's set up. You just pre-pop painkillers.
The solution is to avoid the bad design.
Yeah, you just pre-pop painkillers 24/7. So the end result is you just having a sharper, grainier, worse-looking video game with 70% of the features I would have, which is like you can run when you are on a black light. You know what I mean? So it's like the way you disagree with me is by agreeing with me.
No, see, but the way that
in
they
a weird
see
way,
it,
you know what I mean?
The way that they see it, and why there's no cognitive dissonance there in their minds is they just assume that because it's there, it's intended.
Yeah.
So in a world where BSG wants you to be punished for not pre-medding, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You shouldn't complain because the developers made a conscious decision that they want this behavior.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would be like if I walked up to you and said, I'm mad that when I go into raids without any ammo, I can't kill anybody.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck do you expect? You're supposed to bring in ammo. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that we know that Nikita hates the pre-pain meta.
Yeah.
That people are constantly taking drugs. It's like he said many times, right?
And that's why they keep nuking. They keep shortening the amount of time some of those long-term painkillers do. They keep making them, a little bit more hydration or energy consumption. They add the stupid tinnitus to the Golden Star because they're trying to disincentivize that mechanic. But like
threatening forever to add
addiction,
like a withdrawal and addiction.
But but the core game design is so bad that no amount of disincentivizing will work. If Golden Stars lasted half the time and consumed twice the amount of energy and hydration tomorrow, no less people would use them. Exactly no less people. Because at this point in the wipe, you can either afford a 180,000 ruble Golden Star every other raid, or you can't. And if you can, you're still going to use them because the core game design of being completely unable to move when combat starts, in addition to how stupid the AI is so atrociously bad that it would be worth popping the Golden Star twice as much and just bringing more food in.
Yep. Yeah. And
it's crazy.
Even if it literally was killing you, like actively killing you, like if you nerfed it into the ground, chances are the solution would be another stim.
Yes.
You take the thing that gets rid of effect A at the cost of penalty B, and then you take the stim that relieves you of penalty B, but causes effect C that then you augment by either making your raids shorter or bringing in food or another stim. It would just be
the new most meta thing to do. You know what I mean? And it's like, or there's a status effect in the game and it's called adrenaline. And when you get shot, it procs and you have 5 seconds. It immediately increases your stamina to 50%. If it was above 50%, it doesn't do anything. If your stamina was below 50%, your stamina goes to 50%, and you have 5 seconds of the painkiller effect. After that, you get the debuff, which all of this is stuff that happens in the game, right? You take a mule or whatever, like there are stims you take where boom, you get positives immediately, and then you get like a tremor effect after the positive effect wears off, right? You get shot, adrenaline effect kicks in. You have 5 seconds where you can run. It acts as a painkiller. You have 50% of your stamina. After that, the debuff hits, where the debuff is you can't then get the adrenaline effect for like 60 seconds or 120 seconds, right? You can't just like every time you get shot, it's just like new. You know what I mean? There has to be like you can't get it for 60 seconds after this. Then You just make it where if you take a painkiller when you don't have the pain effect, it does nothing. Boom. The whole combat, as you know it,
game.
flipped on its head. You can move. You have time and you have stamina to decide whether you would like to PvP or not. That's the thing, is that I try not to come in and say, like, my video about PvP sucking is not at all about high level PvP. You know what I mean? If you only have 4 raids to do today, and one of them, this happens where you get shot and you got shot 3 seconds after your painkiller wore off, or you know what I mean? Or you can't afford a golden star and you get shot and now you can't move, and then you touch a bush and a shotgun scav is shooting at you and you just live permanently at no stamina and you're just hobbling away, and then some Chad turns the corner and tigers you in the face. You're like, F this game. So it's like the PvP, it's not a high level PvP, it's just about PvP. So like the adrenaline effect means whether you want a PvP or not, you get to decide because you have time to get to cover, take a painkiller, and then keep going if you want to run away. So it's like, go ahead.
The argument for so long is Nikita's basically like, we want to do that. Like, it's coming for years.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing. On one hand, we basically nod our head and go, okay, that's reasonable, right? Like, they're not going to do it now because they're going to do it later. And you'd think about like all the extra work, right, that would have to go into it. But then the other side of the coin, think about all of the features they've invested so much time and development effort into that are not permanent.
Yeah.
That are temporary.
Yeah.
First of all, every balancing pass they've ever done is time. It was only ever getting you to the next pass of fucking balancing.
Yep.
All of so much of a lot of the shit that I can't even think about because I'm like not in Tarkov land in my brain these days anymore. But so like you can't even make the argument because they've made worse decisions that took more development time and were less impactful in a good way and more impactful in a bad way. I don't buy it. But imagine if 2 years ago they did the thing that couldn't possibly be more than 10 lines of code or like a couple of checkboxes or whatever the fuck they've got, which is the effect that you get at max level stress resistance, the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Just turn it on all the time.
Just implement it
for everybody
it's
all the time. No, like
in the game.
Literally all it's not even like copying it and duplicating it and making it so that it procs under different circumstances. It doesn't have to level. It doesn't have to scale.
Nope.
Just make it so it's the default. Like I guarantee you there's a line of code where it's like you get shot. Do you have max level thing? Do you have the elite perk?
Yep.
Do this block of code.
Yep.
And for 99.9999999% of the fights, that block of code has been skipped.
Yeah, it just goes nope.
Just say, comment that line out and say, this is temporary until we fully flesh out the thing.
Yep.
And then write the new line of code below it that says, if true, do the thing.
Yep.
And now one line of code, conceptually, now makes it so that you have something that is totally temporary.
Yep.
It's a Band-Aid, but it erases an annoying, stupid meta that completely changes the gameplay, the economy, the gameplay loop, the experience negatively.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer. Think about the how many millions of human hours have been elevated and improved for humanity overall. Add it all together.
Yep.
For this feature.
Yep.
It's like
it's insane.
I hate when something is so fucking simple.
Yep.
I go to the doctors because I've got a splinter in my arm, right?
Yep.
And it's like he's like, nah, you know what? I'm not really feeling like I'm gonna pull that out. We'll wait until your next appointment a year from now, your next physical, because maybe you'll have like 2 splinters,
Yep.
So it'll be like worth it for me to go find the tweezers because like right now I don't feel
because then I'll only have to find the tweezers one time.
And then
you
2 weeks
will
later,
suffer an entire year's worth of pain and suffering. But do you see how it's more efficient? Because I only have to go get the tweezers.
And a year later, after it's been infected and your arm has been amputated, and you're going back to the doctor going, why won't you fucking fix it? Right? Well, no, I ordered new tweezers. I said I was going to do it last year, but I just ordered new tweezers and they're going to be here from fucking Amazon in 2 weeks. So
those are the good ones.
The good ones. So like come back. It's like,
yep.
That's what makes me so infuriated and depressing because it's like the solution is grab the tweezers and go.
Yep.
And it's like, for whatever reason, you know what? I really think, that might be good. I really should wait for the good tweezers.
Yep.
Because the little rubber is coming off of the handle of those ones, and it's all the way over in that drawer. And the drawer might be locked. I don't think it is. But then the key is like in the other filing cabinet. And you know what? I'm just not gonna do it. But it's planned. I'm gonna fix that splinter. It's planned.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not doing the whole, but we get new Glock animations because I know that the guys who are animating are doing their job. I'm not saying that the guy who would fix that isn't doing something important. I'm just saying that, like,
no, Nikita doesn't understand how fucking painful the splinter is. He thinks it doesn't feel like anything when you're dying of an infection.
That's it. And that's exactly it. I don't think that the developers who are working right now are doing unimportant things. I think that the team don't understand how painful this is because it would seem worth, once again, potentially like a day or an afternoon or a weekend of guys like just like fixing this whole problem. It would be so simple. And that's why I get so frustrated at the AI because like the Band-Aid, like, I don't know.
Accuracy equals whatever it is now times 0.001.
Exactly. It's just crazy because it's so easy. It's like that, like, and the excuse of like, well, we'll get to it eventually, or we'll do the balancing pass later. Like that is an excuse to make them easier. You know what I mean? It's like, the pouring gasoline on the fire just because you're gonna go get the hose later. That's so stupid. It's like things should be better in temporary, not worse. Like, I don't know.
There is another argument that nobody's saying, but it's very likely a huge, if not significant portion of this. We're extending this metaphor out crazily. In this metaphor, your doctor's Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
And he doesn't have tweezers. He's got a laser torch. So he might lop off your entire fucking head by accident when he goes to take out the splinter, because the situation is set up such that he's gonna fuck up in some unforeseen way.
Yeah.
The floor is lava between you and him, and like, they're afraid. It's only one line of code. But the unstated thing here as a developer you have to understand is that one line of code can take down everything and make it like
rubble.
So what you don't want is to have to amputate the arm and put the Band-Aid on the arm and then wrap up the thing, all because of the splinter.
Yeah.
When you're kind of just hoping that the splinter will pop out on its own and then we won't have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
So I think they get stressed out by these simple solutions.
Yeah.
Because touching anything, it's like a balsa wood fucking house supporting, a million tons of weight.
Yeah. I don't know. And I acknowledge that. And I acknowledge that every
I would take. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just that there's a reality where these simple solutions still have ripple effects because of the spaghetti code, but I just like,
imagine they make the change on Monday and they fucking break it and it has a bunch of unforeseen consequences. Well, they could just undo it.
Yeah.
And what we've lost is a day of gameplay, and that sucks.
Yep.
But it was for the potential of fixing a huge, massive portion of part of the game that we've wanted forever. And also, again, like even worst case, it takes the game down for a week.
Yeah.
But then they find the solution to it. I would take no Tarkov for a week.
Yeah.
After a day of it being totally broken, if on the following Monday,
for sure,
the hacked Band-Aid works and it's fine.
Yeah. And that's what I think. Like, I think that even if they put it in, they messed it up and they had to undo it, or they had to take the game down for a day, I think what they don't understand is that that's a net positive for them, from the community, because they're like trying to make things better. Like, I feel like that's the, like,
from the non-vocal majority.
Yeah, when they put out a patch, everybody is like, it's the things I hear 1,000 times a second on patch day. What did they break today? Interesting to see what new bugs show up today. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Classic BSG. The perception is that they're not attempting to like align with the player in any way. You don't have to in every way, right? That would be silly of us to expect, but in any way to be like, this is a pain point. This is a dumb mechanic. This doesn't align with our vision. This is temporary and stupid, but it's whatever. And so I would submit that even if they're probably thinking worst case scenario, what if we break something? And the community would be like, at least you're trying to fix it. I'll take that. You know what I mean? Like, and I can provide feedback. It's exactly what we said. The feedback we gave on their communication last time was just communicate what the change is and what the intended change was, like what we're trying to do here and why. That formula, and you just win. We changed this. We're trying to achieve this because of this. That formula is just a win. People, of course, are going to comment super negative things. People are going to be toxic, whatever. But I don't think they understand how much community goodwill they buy back by doing stuff like that. Hey, we're doing this. We've added the adrenaline effect. This is the experience we're trying to achieve by it. And we're doing it because we feel like it's too punishing and restrictive in movement when you hit combat. If they push that patch out and it breaks everything and something happens, I feel like the community at large, of course, you're going to have your idiots, but like, it's going to be
the outrage will last for one day and then it will be forgotten, as opposed to 1 million people for years.
Or it'll be finally focused outrage, as opposed to just like ambient white noise outrage. It will be like, even the outrage, even the people trying to be unproductive with their outrage will be productive. They'll say, you said they were trying to do this and it's doing this. And even though that person was angry and being a dick, that's actually valuable information to BSG, because you can say, oh, this was the intended change and this is happening all the time. And they can go, oh shit, I didn't realize that. Why is that happening? So like, even the outrage becomes more productive if you follow that formula. Here's the change. We're hoping to achieve this, and here's why. It's crazy. So like, that's what I'm saying.
The other caveat here, though, is that they're garbage with communication. So they would probably fail to properly communicate the what and the why, and it would be an L, even though it should have been a W. It's like, so we're in the worst timeline, dude. Like, you see, these are hot dogs.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment in time. I have a fucking a box of KM natural casing Franks that I just bought. There was a moment where I said, how much time would it take me to run upstairs, grab 8 fucking hot dogs, put them between my fingers, just for the whole, well, this universe in which,
just to illustrate that how important it is to know we are in the hot dog finger universe. Somewhere out there are people with normal fingers playing a better Tarkov, and we get the hot dogs.
Or eight hot dogs, perfectly good hot dogs that I would obviously have to throw out after this would be worth the joke. Probably should have done that. And honestly, I ruined it. By the way, during the middle of that rant, I had like intrusive thoughts, ADD.
Okay.
I just verified the bank account on AdSense. I just successfully did it. For some reason, I felt in the universe's mana force.
He felt it.
There was a disturbance in the force as if 1,000 Google ads had cried out all at once and said, verify your Bank of America account now. Because for a fucking month now.
At least a month.
This is parting the kimono. For a month now, we've been fucking dealing with bank account, like business bank account stuff, connected with
YouTube,
Google AdSense,
PayPal,
with YouTube, and I swear to Christ, it's like Battlestate Games has made every website in this chain, because it's like you click on a thing, you're like add account, you fill out the 27 fucking forms, or the fields on the form, and you hit OK, and then you're like, you know how normally the screen would kind of flash, scroll up, and you'd see, please enter this required field, and it would be red and whatever. Instead, you hit submit, and like nothing happens. You hit submit, and then nothing happens. You hit submit, and then nothing happens. You're like, what the fuck? You go back, you got to re-log in because like your session cookie got fucking corrupted or whatever. You refresh the page. You saw it went through. There's a verify. We've sent you like the 4 cents in your transaction, but you have to enter how much. Tell us how much it is. So you hit verify, and it goes, oops, there was an unexpected error. Please try again. And it's Google. So there's no live chat, phone call, or email support.
No.
Google AdSense there's a fucking iceberg video to do on this, because imagine trying to get support for the Google website. I mean, that's impossible, right? Then imagine trying to get it for a Google subsidiary of YouTube. That's like almost even less possible. And then imagine, I swear to God, I'm convinced that there's no humans that are working at like the AdSense department. It's just an AI somewhere that put everything up, because like there's a black hole. There's nothing you can fucking do. Nobody owns that feature. It's just there. So for weeks, I just go and hit the verify button. Nothing works. Right now, I just hit the verify, and it was like, for the first time, it was like, we deposited the thing in your your account. How much was it? I'm like, oh, I got the fucking prompt.
Damn.
Oh God, I'm so fucking glad, dude.
That's insane. Praise our Lord and Savior Nikita. But yeah, I mean that's the Tarkov rant. That was my video was like, it was like aim punch, blunt damage, collateral damage, adrenaline, inertia, and recoil. Like within those things, it's like, even if we had perfect netcode, even if we had perfectly balanced guns, even if we had perfectly available ammo, like
I'm gonna have to watch that, because I never thought about any of those things.
I still think that all of them.
That's never considered.
Never considered any of them. Yeah. Whoa. But that was the thing. That was like kind of the point that I was like, this isn't new information. This is just like, I needed it. I needed a place to just like not when I'm online.
There's so much value in that, right?
Like because I can just be like, dude, check out this video. It has like my perfectly worded explanation of this thing. Like, I'm not trying to push you away. I'm just saying right now, when I'm talking to this guy and I'm playing the game and I'm talking to chat, I'm not going to be able to describe to you, like,
articulate
this is it. This is everything. I went through 3 versions of the script. This is everything. And so now I have that. It was even just cathartic for me to get it out and then just be like, whatever. You know what I mean? The video doesn't need 1 million views. I just like, it's there.
Dude, there's so much more value in that than you know, because when one person says a thing that nobody else talks about, they seem like an outlier.
Yeah.
When 2 people are saying the same thing, now there are so many people that are afraid to commit to something or think for themselves. They hear one outlier and they're like, I'm not really sure. As soon as they hear Jesse, or whatever content creator also agree with the thing.
Yep.
I made up my mind. I agree with it too.
Yeah.
And BSG, I'm sure it's just another Veritas saying the thing that nobody else is talking about.
Yeah. I'm
just going to assume that these things are only important to him. They're not important to the player base. Yeah. Nobody cares about those things. So having a rational, reasonable voice, articulating, even if your video, you could have taken my script, read exactly what I fucking said,
yeah,
and put it on top of the same. You'd be talking over my face cam, and it would still have fucking value.
yeah.
Because like it's just, this is just a thing that people, nobody talks about the fucking specifics. You know, you go and ask most streamers what the problem is, and they'll just say like, oh yeah, it's bad netcode. And it's like, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but that's the equivalent of saying like, what's wrong with American politics? Oh, well, it's the two-party system. All right, sick.
Yeah.
If I was the government, right? It's
yeah.
like, well, there's no solution to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And so and what and like the comments were either and they were definitely more so positive, but the comments were either just like super like getting shot should make your aim drop, simple as that. Like, you know what I mean? That was a comment, which is like, if we wanted to get into the iceberg of that comment, it's stupid on every level, right? Like, you know what I mean? You're saying my opinion is bad because you think of that. But the point I made in the video was that it doesn't. Like, you don't get aim punch every time. It's just a lottery. So it's like, you're saying simple as that. That's not what's in the game. So if we go by your comment, they actually also need to change the game. So like, you're dumb on that. You know, he's a person that realizes, whatever. It's like either like super easy to break down stuff, or it was like, before watching this video, I honestly didn't know why I hated PvP and Tarkov so much. This video hit every mark. As a newer player, some consistency is like, or it was that. It was just like,
I'm copy pasting my YouTube channel into any one of those comments. Well, here's why you didn't know, because you're not sub to me.
Yeah.
Those are the things I secretly think when I'm like, if I was a toxic YouTuber,
yeah,
I would fucking do that, dude. Just fucking copy paste my channel link, and all of the people who are like, this is why I love Jesse. He's saying what nobody talks about. Yeah, really?
Oh, really? Yeah.
How many of the comments are? Well, the one thing you didn't consider is
the exact thing you said at 11 minutes and 42 seconds into the video.
Exactly, dude. Yep. So yeah. There was no really Tarkov news this week. They did some small changes. Like, I guess giving credit where credit is due. Like, so, you know, some of the things that a lot of people have said, and even I have said before, like, I don't know that I would have gone about it this way, but at least they're acknowledging feedback, is that they adjusted how much the traders buy a lot of gear. So not items, not like Bitcoins or moonshines, but gear. And that the feedback for a long time has been like, we've even talked about before, there's really no incentive to PvP. And if you do PvP, you're basically incentivized to just go find little trinkets and leave behind all the loot. And so like a lot, and some of it went up by like 2 or 3 times the value. Some of it not so much.
Oh, shoot.
Some of it not so much, but a lot of it really did. So like backpacks, helmets, attachments, base guns, stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff that you would find in PvP is now worth more. The repair costs to repair a lot of stuff is now less. So you might also be more inclined to take an armor because it's not
insurance.
They didn't affect insurance, not in this patch. No.
I was gonna say they would have done the fucking trifecta.
That would have been the trifecta though.
Normally when you go to they do the video game thing where like the fucking you buy the thing from them for $10 and you're like, okay, I want to sell you the thing I just bought for you. They're like, all right, I'll give you $3 for it. You know, where I feel like it should be like 85% of the market value.
Yeah.
They'll make 15% markup on the thing, right? Like,
and they already have.
Then
go ahead.
It's 85% of one good armor. It's just not the one you want.
Yes.
So you're if you're able to take out kind of 2 kits, if you're not going to use them, then you're going to get 1.7.
Yeah, it's almost
kits.
as much as 2 kits you want. Exactly.
But instead, it's not worth that because you can get 5 kits with CPUs in all the slots.
And they already have an algorithm in the game that determines value based on durability. So it's not like by buffing to like 85%, then somebody could say, well, then if you're buying, selling super busted armors to them, you're going to make so much money. But they already have that. We're like armor that's more. So what they could do was just raise the ceiling, but not the floor. So now now the price is more hit when something is lower durability.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're selling low durability stuff and making tons of money, but if you find something that's super high durability, that then incentivizes headshots over spray and pray. Because if you're, you know what I mean? Because then that, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I agree. But once again, I do want to give credit where credit is due. They did do this change. It is something people have wanted. And in the bottom, they literally tweeted, "We continue to process community feedback on the various aspects and mechanics of the games. These balancing changes are among the planned changes to encourage the PvP aspects of the game." So in my opinion, this is a W. I think however much time it took somebody to do this probably could have been spent better doing some other things. Like, you know what I mean? But this is something I have stated I wanted.
No, they no. There isn't anything they would have done that would have been better. I fucking promise you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyways, so like this was a positive change. Like we don't want to. I don't want to get into the weeds of this, but like I think there are other ways to also incentivize PvP over just money. Well, that's the thing is like we keep talking about this. We keep coming back to this. So it's like so I think this is a good change. I think this is a good Band-Aid. But long term, I would like to see, just another incentive other than just money. Anyways, I think that was a good change. In addition, they made some other changes. Like in that patch, it was data mined. It was like the AUG got a buff, but not, it's like still sucks. And so it was like, I'm just like, okay, you know what I mean? Went from 62 vertical recoil to 52 base. You know what I mean?
So what does that change?
Yeah.
I don't know. You kind of have to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the MCX and the SA58 got slight buffs as well. So I was just like, interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But that's all like the stuff that happened. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
Right on.
So that's Tarkov. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I felt like they did. I've been very confused by them because that dev cast that they did now, almost a month and a half, 2 months ago, they like made a really big deal about starting the Chronicles of Rishi. Episode 2 came a week after that, and it's been like 6 weeks and we haven't gotten anything. And then they did that event like last weekend that started and was over in like 24 hours. And then they haven't done any more events. And so like I'm getting mixed signals on like what's
maybe they're
happening.
just doing the No Man's Sky thing and they're just shutting the fuck up and getting to work and doing the right stuff and just not.
Yeah, for sure. I want to believe that, right?
No, don't believe that. That's me.
Yes. Fake coping.
On my knees with chapped lips.
Yeah.
With one check in one hand and an apple.
Yeah.
In the other hand, and I'm philosophically thinking
differently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I wrote a whole fan fiction in my head just now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we'll see. Obviously I'm coping hard, right? All I have is cope left. That's what they're doing. These next 2-3 patches are some of the most important ones, and so I'm coping hard that they're just ripping it and doing it. So we'll see. But just interesting, like anecdotally, more anecdotally than tinfoil hattie. That's a good way to put it. Anecdotally interesting that they started the Chronicles of Rishi and then nothing has really happened. Then they started an event, and normally that starts a process of more events happening. That hasn't happened either. So just like interesting anecdotally. I don't really care to put on the tinfoil hat. As always, I'll end the podcast by saying it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. If anything crazy happens in the next few weeks. I mean, it's Thursday, and so they'll probably announce something huge tomorrow. You know what I mean? But
true.
Yeah. So but yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. That's the cast. Hostess. That's the stuff. Podcast. That's the stuff. Man, we have so many taglines. We got the Mentos.
There's a hole for that.
Hostess.
Although we We stole that.
The hole for that. Yeah.
But not there's that's obscure enough that we can pretend like
for sure
it was our original thing. We'll pull the Amy Schumer.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for supporting. As always, I'm sure I can speak for you here, have loved spending time on the podcast talking about other interests, about games, about YouTube, about videos and stuff like that. And the amount of people that come by and say, yo, love the non-Tarkov stuff. That always warms my heart. Obviously, when there's Tarkov stuff to talk about, we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? So, but it's been cool also just like talking about Star Citizen or No Man's Sky or YouTube or content creation. I love talking about it. I'm sure Veritas does too. So thank you guys for hanging and enjoying that type of content too. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one. Peace.